So, as I've kind of mentioned before, Warner Brothers is having a bit of a fire sale, and other major movie companies that aren't named Disney, and also apparently Amazon's not interested, but Netflix and Paramount have been really, really interested in buying assets from Warner Brothers. And also now Universal. Universal's parent company Comcast has thrown their hat in the ring to buy certain assets of Universal Studios as well. Now, the big thing is that this is nothing new. Like, this news, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of it by now. But the thing of it is, I did a lot of digging into this. Like, I did a lot of, some serious digging into all of these matters. And you know what I found? You know what I discovered? It seems Universal and Comcast aren't really interested in a lot of things. What they are interested in is like the movie, a lot of the movies, as well as the big one. They really want DC Universe. They really want to have ownership of the DC Universe, by and large the DC Comics probably. So, yeah. So this is what this video is going to be about, is like talking about and I did a video similar to this a while back. Like I did talk about a video where what if Universal bought DC Comics? But yeah, it's also funny that like they're doing all of this, like Comcast is doing all this, and someone went, "Hey, why haven't they tried?" Like, you'd think they would go after Harry Potter more because it's in their parks. So wouldn't they want to own it rather than go through Warner Brothers? Which I'm sure that's also what they're trying to do is take ownership of Warner Brothers. But that's all with they probably have to like go through some stuff with Rowling. But DC under Universal, that's an interesting one because I'm of two minds about it. Let's talk about the positives first. The positives of Warner Brothers Warner Brothers selling Universal to DC Comics is, I think they really just want to compete with Marvel more. Like, yeah, they've been using Jurassic Park as like their equivalent to Star Wars, but they definitely know Jurassic Park ain't going to compete with a Marvel film. Even though like Marvel films have been having a lot of late returns, I think one of the reasons why they want the DC Universe films is so they can have something of their own to actually be like, yeah, we have a legit competition with Marvel, so we're gonna, do this and have full control over something that we can go against the mouse with, like something like a proper, something proper to go up against the mouse. You know what I mean? Something of that degree. So I think they would probably pull the trigger the most on that. The thing of it is that here's where, and also like, obviously if Universal gets their hands on the DC property, on the DC properties, the big thing of this is that the DC properties are in some way, shape, or form going to make their way into the parks. Like, I think they might actually replace the Marvel Land, even though, yes, they have a lot more control over it. They still got to go through certain channels with Disney, be it for any, like, changes or what have you. They can do cosmetic stuff, like update the rides and whatnot, but they can't add anything new to it. Here, if they own DC Comics, because that was the original plan. I talk about this all the time, where originally they were going to work with Warner to build instead of Marvel Land, it was meant to be a DC Universe land with Gotham and Metropolis. So they could do that. Like, they could do that. But the problem is that I don't know, and I haven't really talked about this because I keep forgetting to talk about it, is that one of the major things is that Six Flags has the Warner Brothers rights in the parks. So I don't know if Universal did get DC Universe, would they still own that? Like, would they still have that, or would it go right to Universal? I don't know the full extent of that contract. But yeah, Universal would definitely want to replace a Marvel Land with a DC Universe so they can have full control over it. also have all of that plus comic revenue. The problem is I'm a little worried about the comics. You see, I would be legitimately worried about the comics because Universal, as much as I love them, I love the movie studio. One of the problems is that they are very, like, from all intents and purposes, they're kind of notorious for sticking their finger into stuff. Like, they're very, they like to, like, poke at stuff. Whereas it's been very clear that Warner Brothers has been very hands off on what Jim Lee and everyone else in the upper echelons of DC Comics have been doing, and for the better. I mean, DC has just been absolutely rocking it right now since the start of All In. Yeah. So it does make me a little worried that they may try to, like, I don't think they'll meddle too much. That's the thing. I don't think they would meddle too much, but I absolutely know that Universal may try to, like, do some corporate shakeup, and that's what makes me worried. Unless they trust, what Jim Lee can bring to the table. That's what I'm worried about. If they take DC and fire Jim Lee and everyone else at the editorial staff right now at DC. Yeah. But hey, maybe the Universal Monster Comics would come to DC Comics. I don't know. Now, as for, like, what other properties they could take from, what other assets they're probably looking at, again, probably Harry Potter. There's also been talk that Universal really wants Game of Thrones, which I'm like, I mean, even though the show has lost a lot of its fandom thanks to the final seasons, it's still a viable thing. You can make a land out of Westeros, no problem, although you'd have to cut down on the brothels. So I've heard that they're looking at that. They're also looking at I've heard they're looking at the Goonies. I've heard them look at Gremlins. A lot of the cartoon catalog, like Looney Tunes, which that could actually replace Toon Lagoon if they take Looney Tunes. But again, I don't know what the whole contract is with Six Flags. Anyway, so I'm of two minds, but I think Universal at the end of the day would probably know what they're doing with these properties, especially DC Comics. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of the idea of DC owning? Would you want to see DC Comics take ownership of, Universal taking ownership of DC Comics? Yay, nay, let me know in the comments below. But other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.